Imagine a tiny mushroom, smaller than your finger, growing quietly in the wild, nothing special to look at. And yet, this little thing has been shaking human minds for thousands of years. Today we're going to talk about psilocybin mushrooms, what they are, how they work, and why some of the most serious scientists on the planet are suddenly very interested in them. So first, what is psilocybin? It's a chemical that lives inside certain species of mushrooms. When a person consumes it, the body quickly converts it into another substance called psilocin, and psilocin goes straight to the brain. Now here's where it gets interesting. Think of your brain as a city, a big busy city with roads, highways, traffic patterns. Every thought you have is every habit, every mood, every memory travels along those roads. And the thing is, those roads are very fixed. You've been driving the same routes for decades. Your brain is basically a city with serious rush hour traffic. Always the same roads, always the same destinations. Psilocybin comes in like a storm. It washes away the familiar roads. And suddenly, traffic is going everywhere. Parts of the brain that never communicated before start talking to each other. New connections form. New routes open up. Scientists call this increased neural connectivity. Regular people call it seeing the world differently. Now, this is not a new discovery, not even close. Rock paintings found in North Africa suggest that humans were using these mushrooms at least 9,000 years ago. 9,000. That's older than the Egyptian pyramids. The ancient Aztecs called them Teonanacatl. That translates as flesh of the gods. Not fun mushroom, not weekend mushroom. Flesh of the gods. These people were serious about what they were doing. They used these mushrooms in sacred ceremonies, for healing, for spiritual vision, for connecting with something beyond ordinary thinking. Then in the 1950s, a Western researcher named R. Gordon Wasson traveled to Mexico, sat in one of these ancient ceremonies, and wrote about the experience in Life magazine. And the modern world, already curious, already a little restless, absolutely lost its mind. Fast forward to today. For decades, psilocybin research was basically frozen. Governments classified it as a dangerous substance with no medical value. Scientists couldn't touch it, but in the last 20 years, something shifted. Researchers came back, and what they found surprised even the skeptics. Johns Hopkins University, one of the most respected medical schools in the world, published studies on psilocybin and depression. The results were remarkable. Patients who had struggled with severe depression for years, who had tried every medication and every therapy, and after just one carefully guided session, many of them reported dramatic improvement. One patient described it like this: "It was like someone reached into my brain and turned the lights back on." Similar findings came from research on addiction. People who couldn't quit smoking for 20 years. After psilocybin sessions, many stopped. Research on alcohol dependency showed similar patterns. Studies on patients with terminal cancer showed that psilocybin helped reduce the crushing anxiety of facing death. The brain, it turns out, can be nudged, and this tiny mushroom seems to know exactly where to push. Now, let's be clear about something important. This is not a safe, casual substance. Outside of clinical settings, the risks are real. If someone has a personal or family history of schizophrenia or psychosis, psilocybin can trigger a serious mental health crisis. That's not a small risk. That's a life-changing one. Wrong setting, wrong mindset, wrong dose. Instead of insight, panic, paranoia, a very difficult experience that can last hours. From a legal standpoint, in most countries around the world, possession of mushrooms containing psilocybin is a criminal offense. It is not a gray area, nor is it possible. It is a criminal offense. Research conducted at Harvard and Johns Hopkins University takes place under strictly controlled conditions involving qualified specialists with careful patient selection, months of preparation, and follow-up monitoring. This is nothing like what happens outside the laboratory. So what are we left with? A mushroom, smaller than your finger, growing in the wild for millions of years. Now it's in the labs of some of the world's greatest universities. Scientists in white coats are studying it as a potential key to treating depression, addiction, trauma, and the fear of death. This isn't magic. It isn't a shortcut. It isn't a party trick. It's a molecule that reminds the brain of what it sometimes forgets. That things don't have to stay the same, that a new way of thinking is possible, that a city can be rebuilt, and sometimes just realizing that changes everything.